Hello. This video is an invitation to the course Introduction to Talmud. It responds to 3 questions. What is the Talmud? Is this course for me? What will I learn from it? My name is Sacha Stern. I am Professor of Rabbinic Judaism and Head of Department Hebrew and Jewish Studies at UCL. One of my areas of research and teaching is early rabbinic literature, and the Talmud is a very important part of this. The Talmud is one of the most important sources of rabbinic Judaism. One can say that all shades of Judaism today treat the Talmud as its main source. And it's also very important to Jewish culture and literature. To this day, Jewish writers have drawn on phrases, motifs, stories, and other elements of the Talmud. So that's why I think that anyone who is serious about Jewish studies should want to find out what the Talmud is. The Talmud was written around the 6th century, what we call late antiquity, and it includes legal discussions about various aspects of law. It could be Jewish religious law, how to observe the mitzvot, or it can be civil law, law of marriage, etc. It also contains biblical exegesis, interpretations of biblical verses, biblical passages, and also stories in the biblical past and in the historical present. In a course like this, we will never cover the whole of the Talmud. A printed edition of the Talmud, a complete set without translation, comprises 20 volumes usually, and each volume is pretty large. Let me show you a volume in real life, but this is quite a hefty book. And this gives you an idea of the quantity of the material. I, for one, have not read the whole of the Talmud. I don't even know if I've read half of it. What does a page of Talmud look like? Well, here's an example from an early print. And actually, the Talmud itself is only the middle bit, whereas all around you have commentaries mainly written in the Middle Ages, which accumulated over time and were printed together with the main text. The Talmud is also available in digital formats. If you go to UCL reading lists, which you can access anytime, to the page of this course, you will find here lots of very useful resources. And among them, I've listed a couple of online resources. So the first one is dtorah.com. Let's open it. And we will find there access to any passage of Talmud we want. So this is the original print, similar to what we saw before. But if you press one of these buttons down here, you get a transcribed text in a modern font, which is much easier to read. And also you get an English translation. The other resource is Sefaria. So let's have a look at this one now. So Sefaria also offers you access to the whole of the Talmud, and you can open any passage you want. It will give you the original text and then a translation. The bold bits are the actual translation of the text, and the unbold bits are additional pieces of elucidation. This course requires no background knowledge, except that I do expect students to have some knowledge of Hebrew, at least at beginner's level. Could be biblical Hebrew or modern Hebrew. The Talmud is written in a mixture of Hebrew and Aramaic. Students tell me, oh, but I don't know Aramaic. That's not a problem. Aramaic in the Talmud is very formulaic. It's basically phrases which, if you learn them and remember them, then it becomes all very easy. And in any event, we will be reading all the texts in class and we will be translating them, so you'll get all the support that you need. This course is also suitable for students who do have a background in Talmud. You might even have gone to yeshiva or seminary for 1 year or whatever, because I approach the Talmud from a modern academic perspective, which is not something you would normally get in a traditional learning context. By the end of the course, all students should have acquired basic skills and a general knowledge which should enable you to read and understand a text of Talmud with the help of the digital resources which we were looking at earlier. To finish off, here is a short passage of Talmud which you can read as a taster. It's a story involving rabbis, and it also brings up the variety of contents that you find in the Talmud: legal traditions, stories, parables. The parable which is here is about a man who has 2 wives, and the wives are rather stereotypical. So this also raises a gender issue. Gender studies is one of the modern perspectives with which we will be approaching the Talmud. So I look forward to seeing you. And if you have any questions about this course, you can always send me an email on sacha.stern@ucl.ac.uk.